The Philippines. A nation comprised of over 7,000 islands, each one pulsating with a unique rhythm of life. This archipelago, nestled in the heart of Southeast Asia, boasts a history as vibrant and diverse as its coral reefs. For centuries, the Filipino people have woven a rich tapestry of culture, resilience, and an unwavering spirit. But their story, like many others, is one marked by a struggle for freedom. Before the arrival of colonizers, the islands thrived on a network of independent villages and kingdoms. Filipinos had their own systems of governance, their own religions, and a flourishing trade network that stretched across the seas. This period was not without its conflicts, but it laid the foundation for a strong sense of community and identity. The arrival of Ferdinand Magellan in 1521 marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that would forever alter the course of the archipelago's destiny. Magellan's expedition, though ultimately unsuccessful, opened the door for a wave of Spanish explorers and conquistadors eager to claim these islands for their own. Little did the Filipinos know that their world was about to be irrevocably changed. The year 1565 witnessed a pivotal moment in Philippine history: the arrival of Miguel López de Legazpi. Legazpi, a Spanish conquistador, established the first permanent Spanish settlement in Cebu, marking the start of over 3 centuries of colonial rule. The Spanish wasted no time in asserting their dominance. Manila, with its strategic location and natural harbor, was conquered in 1571 and declared the new capital. Spanish influence permeated every facet of Filipino life. The Catholic Church, a powerful arm of the Spanish crown, played a central role in this transformation. Friars fanned out across the archipelago, converting the population to Christianity and establishing churches and schools. Spanish language, culture, and social structures were systematically introduced. Filipinos were christened with new names, taught a new language, and made to swear allegiance to a distant king. This process of cultural assimilation, while not entirely successful, left an indelible mark on Filipino identity. While the Spanish brought with them advancements in infrastructure, education, and governance, their rule was far from benevolent. The Filipinos, once masters of their own destiny, found themselves relegated to second-class citizens in their own land. The colonial system was built on exploitation. Filipinos were subjected to forced labor, exorbitant taxes, and land grabbing, enriching the Spanish coffers while draining the islands of their resources. The Catholic Church, despite its role in providing education and social services, also became complicit in the oppression. Friars, often the sole authority figures in remote areas, amassed considerable wealth and power, sometimes resorting to abusive practices to maintain control over the population. As decades turned into centuries, resentment towards Spanish rule simmered beneath the surface. Filipinos, denied basic rights and freedoms, yearned for the day they could once again chart their own course. The 19th century brought with it a wave of change that swept across the globe. Ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity ignited by the French Revolution found fertile ground in the hearts and minds of Filipinos. The opening of the Suez Canal in 1869 further fueled this awakening. The Philippines, now more connected to the rest of the world, was exposed to new ideas and ideologies. It was during this period that a young Filipino doctor named José Rizal emerged as a powerful voice for reform. Rizal, through his poignant writings and eloquent speeches, exposed the injustices of Spanish rule and ignited the flames of nationalism. His novels served as scathing indictments of colonial oppression, resonating deeply with Filipinos from all walks of life. Rizal's activism, though peaceful, was deemed dangerous by the Spanish authorities. He was arrested and exiled to Dapitan, Mindanao, but his message continued to spread like wildfire. His martyrdom in 1896, when he was executed by the Spanish, only served to further galvanize the Filipino people. Section 5. A change in colonizers. While the Philippine Revolution raged, a different kind of conflict was brewing on the other side of the world. The Spanish-American War, sparked by events in Cuba, would have a profound impact on the Philippines' fight for freedom. In 1898, the American fleet, led by Commodore George Dewey, sailed into Manila Bay and engaged the Spanish fleet in a decisive battle. The Battle of Manila Bay was a resounding victory for the Americans. The Spanish fleet was decimated, effectively ending Spain's naval power in the region. This victory had far-reaching consequences, shifting the balance of power in the Pacific and setting the stage for a new era in Philippine history. The Treaty of Paris, signed later that year, officially ended the Spanish-American War. Spain, defeated and weakened, ceded the Philippines to the United States. For the Filipinos who had fought so valiantly for their independence, this news was met with a mixture of hope and apprehension. They were free from Spain, but would their dream of self-determination be realized under American rule? Section 6. A war for recognition. The answer, unfortunately, was a resounding no. The United States, eager to establish itself as a global power, had no intention of granting the Philippines immediate independence. This refusal to recognize Filipino sovereignty ignited the Philippine-American War, a brutal and bloody conflict that would last for 3 long years. Emilio Aguinaldo, who had declared Philippine independence in 1898, led the resistance against the Americans. Filipino soldiers, armed with outdated weapons and fueled by a fierce love for their homeland, fought valiantly against a superior force. The war was characterized by guerrilla tactics, ambushes, and fierce battles fought in jungles, mountains, and villages across the archipelago. Despite their courage and tenacity, the Filipinos were outmatched. Aguinaldo was captured in 1901, dealing a significant blow to the resistance movement. The Philippine-American War officially ended in 1902, but sporadic fighting continued for years afterward. This conflict, often overlooked in history books, left a deep scar on the Filipino psyche. Section 7. The Long Road to Autonomy. The Philippines, now under American colonial rule, embarked on a new chapter in its quest for self-determination. The Americans implemented a policy of benevolent assimilation, aimed at modernizing the archipelago and preparing it for eventual independence. Schools were built, infrastructure improved, and a democratic system of government introduced. However, American rule was not without its flaws. Filipinos were still denied full political and economic rights. The American economy benefited greatly from access to Philippine resources, while Filipino farmers and laborers often struggled to make ends meet. Despite these challenges, Filipinos continued to advocate for their right to self-rule. Nationalist leaders emerged, demanding greater autonomy and eventual independence. The Philippine Assembly, established in 1907, provided a platform for Filipinos to voice their concerns and participate in the legislative process. Section 8. The Dawn of Independence. The path to independence took an unexpected turn with the outbreak of World War II. The Philippines, caught in the crossfire between Japan and the United States, became a battleground. The Japanese occupation, brutal and oppressive, rekindled the Filipinos' fighting spirit. Resistance movements, fueled by a burning desire for liberation, sprang up across the islands. The end of World War II brought with it the promise of a new beginning for the Philippines. The United States, recognizing the sacrifices made by the Filipino people during the war, finally granted them their long-awaited independence. On July 4, 1946, the Philippine flag was raised, marking the birth of a new nation. This momentous occasion was met with jubilation and hope. Filipinos, who had endured centuries of colonial rule, finally had the opportunity to shape their own destiny. The road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but they were determined to build a nation that embodied the values they had fought so hard to defend. Section 9. A Legacy of Resilience. The journey to independence was long and arduous, marked by bloodshed, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. The Philippines' story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people, their unwavering belief in freedom, and their resilience in the face of adversity. Today, the Philippines stands as a beacon of democracy in Southeast Asia. The legacy of their struggle for independence continues to inspire generations of Filipinos to fight for justice, equality, and self-determination. Their story is a reminder that the fight for freedom is never truly over, and that the human spirit, when united by a common purpose, can overcome even the most formidable obstacles.